The billionaire stood quietly in the rain. More than 50 children watched him from the orphanage windows. He slowly walked past every child. Then suddenly stopped. In the far corner, a small 7-year-old boy sat alone, drawing a house on a piece of paper. The billionaire knelt beside him. "What's your name?" The little boy looked up. "Noah." "And what are you drawing?" "My future home." The billionaire smiled. Then turned to the orphanage director. "I want to adopt him." Nobody knew that 15 years later, the same little boy would save the billionaire's life. The lonely boy. Noah had lived in the orphanage since he was 6 months old. Nobody knew who his parents were. Every year, families came to adopt children. Every year, Noah waited. And every year, someone chose another child. The staff often found him sitting alone, drawing houses. One day, a teacher asked, "Why do you always draw the same house?" Noah smiled sadly. "Because one day, someone will call me family." The billionaire. William Carter was one of America's richest businessmen. He owned hotels, technology companies, and private jets. But he had one problem money couldn't solve. He had lost his wife and young son in a car accident years earlier. Since then, his mansion had become silent. Every room reminded him of what he had lost. One afternoon, his lawyer suggested, "Perhaps it's time to help someone else." That's why William visited the orphanage. He expected to donate money. He never expected to meet Noah. A new home. 1 week later, Noah stood outside William's enormous mansion. He had never seen a house so big. William smiled. "This is your home now?" Noah whispered. "Our home?" William nodded. "Our home." For the first time in years, someone hugged Noah. That night, William tucked Noah into bed. Before turning off the lights, Noah quietly asked, "Will you leave me too?" William's eyes filled with tears. He gently held Noah's hand. Never. Learning. Life. Years passed. William never spoiled Noah with money. Instead, he taught him values. Money can disappear overnight. But honesty, respect, and kindness stay forever. Every Saturday, William took Noah to homeless shelters. They served meals together. Every Christmas, they secretly paid strangers' hospital bills. William often said, "The richest person is the one who changes the most lives." Noah remembered every word. Trouble begins. When Noah turned 22, he graduated from one of the best universities in America. William proudly watched him receive his diploma. But while Noah celebrated, someone else was planning revenge. Inside William's company, his business partner, Victor Reynolds, had secretly stolen millions of dollars. He blamed William for exposing his fraud years earlier. Now, Victor wanted everything William owned. And he was willing to destroy him to get it. One rainy evening, William received a mysterious phone call. The voice whispered, "By tomorrow morning, you'll lose everything." William stood silently, looking out the window. He had no idea that his biggest battle was about to begin. Everything collapses. The next morning, William Carter walked into his headquarters. Something felt wrong. Employees whispered in the hallways. His assistant ran toward him. "Sir, the banks have frozen our accounts." William stopped. "What?" Before he could react, news reporters surrounded the building. Breaking news flashed across every television. Carter Global faces financial fraud investigation. William's stock dropped within minutes. His investors panicked. Business partners disappeared. By sunset, the billionaire who had built an empire over 30 years had lost almost everything. Betrayal. That evening, William gathered his closest executives. Only 3 people showed up. Everyone else resigned. Victor Reynolds smiled. "I warned you. The business world has no friends." William stared at him. "You planned this." Victor smiled. "But nobody can prove it." Within hours, William's mansion was seized. His luxury cars disappeared. His private jet was sold. For the first time in decades, William had nowhere to go. Noah returns. Meanwhile, Noah was finishing an international business conference in London. His phone rang. It was William's old assistant. "Noah, your father needs you." Noah immediately booked the first flight home. 18 hours later, he landed in New York. He searched everywhere. Finally, he found William sitting alone on a park bench. The same man who had once owned skyscrapers now held only one small suitcase. William looked up and smiled. "I guess life finally caught up with me." Noah sat beside him. "You once told me, a real family never leaves." "I'm not leaving either." "The secret?" William sighed. "It's over. We lost everything." Noah smiled. "No. You lost your company. You didn't lose me." William looked confused. "What do you mean?" Noah handed him a folder. Inside were documents showing a company called Nova Technologies. William frowned. "I've never heard of it." Noah smiled. "You wouldn't. I started it 5 years ago. I wanted to build something on my own." William slowly turned the pages. His hands began to shake. Annual revenue: $9.8 billion. William looked at Noah in disbelief. You built this?" Noah nodded. "Everything you taught me, I used. But there was one lesson you forgot." William smiled. "Which one?" "Always have a backup plan." For the first time in weeks, William laughed. The revenge. The following Monday, Victor Reynolds entered Carter Global. He sat confidently in William's old office. Suddenly, every computer screen went black. A message appeared. "Ownership transfer complete." Victor stood up. "What is happening?" The board members entered. One of them smiled. "Mr. Reynolds, you no longer own this company." Victor shouted. "Who bought it?" The conference room doors opened. Noah walked in wearing a dark blue suit. William walked beside him. Victor's face turned pale. Noah calmly placed the purchase agreement on the table. "I bought every available share. And today, Carter Global belongs to our family again." Victor collapsed into his chair. Everything he had planned had failed. The final truth. Victor Reynolds was escorted out of the building by security. Every employee watched in silence. The man who had betrayed William had lost everything. William turned toward Noah. "You didn't have to save my company." Noah smiled. "You saved my life first." William's eyes filled with tears. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then William quietly whispered, "I've never been more proud to call someone my son." The big announcement. 1 month later. More than 5,000 employees gathered inside Carter Global's headquarters. News reporters from around the country filled the auditorium. William slowly walked onto the stage. He looked older now. His voice trembled slightly. 30 years ago. I built this company from a tiny office. But today, I've made the most important decision of my life. Everyone became silent. William looked toward Noah. Effective immediately. I am retiring as CEO. Gasps echoed throughout the room. William smiled. And from this day forward, Noah Carter will become the new CEO of Carter Global. The audience erupted into applause. Employees stood on their feet. Some wiped away tears. Noah walked onto the stage. He hugged William tightly. The applause lasted several minutes. The promise. During his first speech as CEO, Noah held up an old drawing. It was the same picture he had drawn in the orphanage 15 years earlier. A small house. A family. A smiling child. Everyone looked at it in silence. I drew this when I believed nobody wanted me. He looked toward William. One man changed everything. I stand here today because someone chose love over money. The entire hall applauded again, that giving back. Noah made one unexpected announcement. Carter Global will build 100 new orphan homes across America. The audience looked surprised. No child should ever believe that they're alone. William smiled proudly. You've become a better man than I ever hoped. Noah quietly replied. I learned from the best. Epilogue, 20 years later. 20 years later. A little boy walked into one of Noah's orphan homes. He sat alone, drawing a picture of a house. Noah noticed him immediately. He smiled, walked over, and asked, What are you drawing? The little boy answered, My future home. Noah's eyes filled with tears. He remembered saying those exact words as a child. He knelt beside the boy, smiled, and gently said, You don't have to imagine it anymore. Come home with me. The circle had finally come complete. Emotional. Years later, journalists often asked Noah, What was the greatest gift a billionaire ever gave you? People expected him to say, The mansion. The education. The company. But Noah always smiled and answered, He didn't give me money. He gave me a family. And that made me richer than any billionaire on earth.